Sai Ram. In the year 1962, a Kheddah operation was conducted in the Mudumalai forests in Tamil Nadu in the south of India. Though they are rarely done these days, back in those times, Kheddah operations were the major method by which wild elephants would be captured and then they would be domesticated for multiple purposes. They would be used for lifting, for moving, for construction. They would also be used for ceremonial purposes in temples and in processions with the royal families, etc. The running elephants would fall into these pits and get trapped. In this process, oftentimes elephants would get injured, some of them would even die. And during that Kheddah operation, one mother elephant had passed away and her orphan child was there. This little baby had a great role to play because at that very moment, visiting the Mudumalai forest was Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, our dear Swami. He went straight to this little elephant and adopted it on the spot. He named her Sai Geeta. And thus, in 1962, Sai Geeta became Swami's pet elephant. And indeed, she was such a pet, an endearing little fellow whom Swami took wherever he went. She accompanied Swami back to Prashantinilayam, and whenever Swami was in Vrindavan, she would go to Swami in Vrindavan also. She would always be hanging around Swami. She would even sit in his car. So tiny she was back then. She would often be in the interview room inside Swami's residence. Till a point came where she grew so big that she wouldn't fit into the doors, and therefore Swami had a shed constructed for her right beside his residence. She would see Swami day in and day out. She would be there for the morning darshan, for the evening darshan. In fact, even in Vrindavan, she would walk all the way from Puttaparthi to Vrindavan, which is about 150 kilometers, and stay there. She would be there welcoming Swami with a garland. And as she grew older, she began to be seated, or let me say standing, on the lady's side. After all, she is a lady, right? Sai Gita. This was a beautiful connection that existed between Sai Gita and Swami. The stories of Swami and Sai Gita are so innumerable and each one touches the heart. But in this video, I shall focus on a couple of incidents that, apart from touching the heart, teach us very valuable lessons and provide us some amazing insights. And these incidents definitely prove to us beyond doubt that Swami is divine. Swami is no less than the Supreme Parabrahman who had come as Rama, who had come as Krishna, and again who came as our beloved Sathya Sai. It was 1976, Sai Gita was a teenager now, and Swami had her shifted to the newly inaugurated Gokulam, where all of Swami's cows and buffaloes were housed. This was the period when Swami's educational mission was taking off, and that entire Vidyagiri road saw multiple constructions happening. One of them was a primary school building, along with several other buildings along that same road. Now at the end of the road was Gokulam, which meant that Gokulam was about half a kilometer away from the primary school building whose construction Swami had come to supervise. Now between this building area and the Gokulam, there were so many things. There were boulders, there were thorny shrubs, scrubs. That apart, for water that is needed for this construction, Swami had also got a bund built. So all the water had got collected, a huge tank was there. That was the tank where all the cows and buffaloes would have a good time as well. So all of this was there. And yet, the moment Swami alighted at the primary school building, somehow Sai Gita in Gokulam knew. She knew that her beloved Swami is here. So she just broke out of her shackles and began to run with a single-minded focus of reaching Swami. She crossed over the boulders, she went through the pits, she jumped across these thorny bushes, everything, nothing mattered to her. She went across that entire water body also to finally reach Swami. So many people tried to restrain her, but it was of no use, and Swami smilingly welcomed her. She prostrated straight at Swami's feet. And looking at some of the students who were there, Swami said, "Look at her devotion, how she comes. You are all Dunnapotas." Dunnapota means buffalo. And indeed, the buffaloes had not rushed to Swami. They were all at the water hole, lazing and drinking that water by themselves. And it was so poignant, the statement that Swami made. He said, "You are all Dunnapotas, you are all buffaloes, inert, tamasic, just lazing around. Look at her devotion. She is not at peace unless she is at Swami's feet." At this point, a question might come in many minds that what is so special about this? Because pets often rush to their masters. Pet love the pet parents, and this bond is inexplicable. This kind of loyalty is common. Dear brothers and sisters, the relationship that existed between Sai Gita and Swami, that exists even to this day, is beyond that exists between a pet parent and a pet. It is beyond that which exists between any two beings. This is the highest kind of relationship, the relationship between a devotee and God. Like Gajendra and Vishnu, that is how it is between Sai Gita and Sai. How, you may ask? Let me make it very clear with this one profound incident. Do pay all attention. Ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanyam pashubhir naranam, it is said. The scriptures say that 4 things are common between animals and humans as well. Nobody can escape from the grip of these 4 things. What are these 4? Ahara, food; Nidra, sleep; Bhaya, fear; and Maithuna, or the strong urge to procreate, reproduce and create progeny. These are 4 things that animals and human beings cannot control. Yet, it is absolutely impossible for an animal to control this, and that's why it's called animal instinct. That is why animals hunt. They don't hunt out of anger or any jealousy or out of irritation. They hunt because it's their instinct. So these 4 are animal instincts. Sometime after this episode where Sai Gita ran to Swami, people began to tell the elders who were there around Swami, that Sai Gita has achieved an age where she has her needs. What needs? Swami was providing her food, shelter, everything. Yes, Swami, the 4th one, the strongest among these 4. Ahara, food you are giving; Bhaya, fearlessness you are taking care of; Nidra, sleep she is getting; but Maithuna, she needs a mate. She needs to have children. That is a strong urge and we should not stop it. We know animals, when this season comes, it is said that they are in heat, the mating season, they do crazy things because that urge is so strong. And so, despite Swami saying that there is nothing like that for Sai Gita, they said, "No, Swami, Sai Gita, after all, she is an elephant. So what do you suggest?" Swami, let her be sent to the forest so that she can mate and then she will have children. And Swami permitted, and that is how Sai Gita undertook a 13 to 20 hour trek, walking along with her 2 mahots, Shri Satyanarayana and Shri Vasantrao. These were the 2 mahots who took her to the same Mudumalai forest, her place of birth, with the goal that she should mate and have children. It turned out to be an arduous task. They had camped in the forest, and every day they would try to send Sai Gita towards different elephant herds. And elephants have this instinct to always stay in a herd. But not Sai Gita. She was least interested in this, and every day it appeared as if she was missing Swami. The amount of food she would eat came down drastically. She would barely sleep. Throughout, she would be waiting for her Swami. That is what these Mahots felt. In order to kindle that motherhood in her, they brought a few baby elephants as well and let those baby elephants be around Sai Gita. What Sai Gita would do? She would play with them as long as these Mahots were there. But the moment the Mahots turned their back, she too would ignore them. She just wanted solitude. She wanted to be with herself because she was missing Swami. Well, you may ask, how do you know that she is missing Swami? It could just be that she is in a different place and she is facing all this. One day, suddenly these Mahots heard Sai Gita trumpeting, and this was something that shook them up because she had never been this excited anytime. And she was so excited that she broke her ropes and began to rush towards a stream that was flowing there. They followed her. Sai Gita jumped into the stream and she began to cross the stream. Now this stream was quite a big one and it was dangerous. They had never made Sai Gita cross all this in this manner, but she was just swimming across. The Mahots also jumped in trying to restrain her, but it was of no use. Finally they had to hold on to her for their own safety. Without fearing for her life, without any other thought, she was just rushing God knows where. Well, we know where, because on the other bank, at a distance of possibly a half or 1 kilometer away, Swami had come to the Mudumalai forest. Sai Gita sensed it was not just in Puttaparthi where she could see Swami. She could feel Swami. She felt Swami and went, and Swami had brought baskets of fruit to feed her. He lovingly fed her apples and other fruits directly into her mouth. But then, she had been sent here for a purpose, right? Maithuna, to fulfill that need. So Swami had to leave. He blessed the Mahots as well and told them to take good care of Sai Gita. Sat in the car and drove away. And Sai Gita seemed shattered. She was just shattered. She couldn't believe that her Lord, with whom she had finally reunited, had just left. She spat out all the fruits that were still in her mouth. She didn't care for it. And she stopped eating altogether. Unheard of. Ahara. She totally overcame that. Ahara is food, not eating food. Nidra, sleep. She would barely sleep. Animals can't will that I won't sleep, but she just chose not to sleep because it's not just an animal there. It's a devotee yearning for the Lord. Bhaya, fearless, the way she surged, the way she rushed towards Swami, jumping across streams, across the trees, everything. No fear at all. The goal is Swami. And Maithuna, they saw at the end of 4 months, finally they sought permission to return to Puttaparthi. And after these nearly 4 months of efforts, they reported back that Sai Gita had not ventured near any adult elephant at all. Even the baby elephant she just allowed because they are babies possibly. Swami just smiled. But now something interesting happened. One of the veterinary doctors who had come to check on Sai Gita suddenly pronounced that she was pregnant. How? How was she pregnant? This is a virgin birth then, if at all she delivers. But then the Mahots said, no, we have never let Sai Gita out of our sight. Did you not sleep at night? Of course we slept at night. Then Sai Gita must have gone into the forest at night. You have no idea. But she is pregnant. So Swami also played along with the doctor. He said, yes, she is pregnant. We need to take good care of Sai Gita now. So a special diet was commissioned for her, a special enclosure was made, and it was also ensured that she has her privacy as the due date came closer. And the whole of Prashantilyam Puttaparthi waited with bated breath and eager anticipation for Sai Gita was going to become a mother. Finally the due date came and there was no baby. Of course Sai Gita was not pregnant. She was just pregnant with her love for Swami. Swami then came, laughed out aloud and said, she is a Shuddha Brahmacharini. Brahmacharini in the normal sense means a celibate woman. But in the true sense of the term, Brahmacharini means a woman who is in search of Brahman, the Supreme Lord, one who always seeks Brahman. And Sai Gita, Swami said, is one who is seeking Brahman, and therefore she will not go into any of these. Food does not hold dear for her as much as Swami does. Fear, she is fearless when there is Swami. No sleep needed for her if there is Swami. Absolutely no need to procreate or reproduce, and therefore she has overcome all these four. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithunam cha. Dear brothers and sisters, if this is not proof of the divinity of Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, well, we are just choosing not to see. On one occasion, in Trai Brindavan, Swami's residence at Bangalore, there was a caretaker whose name is Sri Rama Brahmam. Oh, he is a great supreme devotee. And in case you have not watched, please visit this link above and see both parts of the life of Sri Ram Brahmam Garu. My God, so inspiring, so touching, so beautiful. Indeed, a great servitor and devotee of Swami who had the blessed opportunity to stay with Swami. So one night in Trai Brindavan, Swami's residence, Ram Brahmam Garu heard some kind of sound, some hissing sound, some tapping sound, and he wondered, who is it at this time of the night? He went near the window. He could not see anything, but somebody was knocking. And Swami had clearly instructed him that unless he knows who it is, and except for these few people, nobody should be allowed at night. He was now scratching his head and wondering what he should do when he heard the familiar and loving voice of his Swami. Swami had come down and he said, Ram Brahmam, that is Sai Gita. Indeed, it was Sai Gita missing her Lord, and in the middle of the night she had come to Swami's residence and she was tapping on the window. Many are the stories, dear brothers and sisters, of Swami's love for Gita and Gita's love for Swami. In fact, it is said that the manner in which a person leads his or her life is seen in the manner in which he or she dies. If we look at the death, the passing of Sai Gita, it gives us an amazing insight. It gives us conviction on the kind of life she led. That is a beautiful long story in itself, and it has been elaborately detailed in this link above. On May 22nd, 2007, when she gave up her body, my God, no less than any yogi of the highest order. Sai Gita was born as an animal, and she elevated herself to a level beyond human by true devotion and bhakti for Swami. Dear brothers and sisters, having got this very sacred human birth. In fact, on one occasion, I heard some of the elders mention that Swami had said, because of her noble life, Sai Gita will be blessed with a human birth. And here we are, having already got that human birth, which means definitely we have done something amazingly good and righteous. That is why this human birth is a reward. But the human birth is not an end in itself. It is a means to achieve the lotus feet. May we never rest. May we always have that enthusiasm like Sai Gita to rush to his lotus feet. May the love that we have in our heart for him keep growing stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.